Hi, my name is Jeff, and welcome to my workshop, or welcome back. We're going to continue working on the Burdick Freight Dock kit. We're going to put the roof on. Now, I did discover I made a couple of mistakes that would make things harder. So, one was gluing the roof on. So, I've removed the long roof, the roof off the short section, and I'm putting 3M transfer tape on the top of that roof card and just using some scissors to trim it flush. And then I will add roofing material to it. And I apologize that a lot of this video is off camera. I did not realize that my camera had gotten bumped after it had been set up, so my usual work area was off the frame, but you can see here where I trimmed off the footage and just removing the backing paper from it. If you're not familiar with transfer tape, it's the sticky stuff of tape on a piece of removable paper. So it's like double-sided tip, but very thin. This is the paper, the roofing paper that comes with the kit. It's got lines on it so you can control it. I painted the back side of it a grimy black. And then I just cut strips out of it, cutting it into strips. And the glue strips then can get laid on the roofing card. You want to start, since it's a slope roof, you want to start at the bottom and work your way up so it kind of overlaps just a little bit where the water, so the water were to run off, it wouldn't get under the roofing. It would run over those joints. So I'm going to get that on. We'll get that paper on, and then I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife to trim it even with the roof card. And I'll use the roof card as my guide to slice through the paper and get that nice and trimmed up. By the way, if this is your first time visiting my channel, please check out the playlist for this series that will be linked below in the description, and you'll see the first parts of it. If you bookmark the playlist, you'll see additional notifications. Also, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, and you'll know when new videos are released. I'm trying to do a video a day on this series. I may skip a day or two every once in a while, but I'm shooting for one video a day as I work through the steps of building this kit. So now with the roof done, I'm just going to apply some of the wood glue. This is the same yellow carpenter's glue that I've been using on the walls to the top edge of the wall. Again. And also to the side of the roof where it's going to sit against the wall of the upper level wall of the tower area. You're going to want a thin layer so it doesn't leak out onto the outside of the building. If some leaks into the inside, that's not a big deal. And I find it easiest to look at it from the bottom to make sure that I'm square and I've got level eaves all the way around the building on that overhang. We can let that dry. Now for the witch's cap roof on the tower, I again removed the witch's cap section, and again using transfer tape in my paper, I'm just putting the paper on. This time I'm working on the edges first since this is a flat roof. And we don't have to we want the edges to look good, but we're not going to worry too much if there's a gap in the middle because it'll be covered by the witch's hat, the other portion of roof. And again, I'll trim off the excess with my X-Acto knife. If you're quick in getting, you can sometimes pull the material off with the transfer tape, but you really don't get a lot of chances with this. Once it's down, it's going to be down. So, especially if you burnish it in. I'm just trimming off the edges of the paper here so we'll get a nice clear finish on it. One lesson you can take from this is read the instructions and make sure, while it's always helpful to follow them, also note when you can find things that you can deviate from those directions that will make things easier. So for the witch's cap, I'm going to apply the paper again, and for the first side I'm going to do it the same way as I did the others. I used the transfer tape. But as you can see, there's kind of some overhang on the transfer tape, and I didn't want that to happen on the other side, so I'm switching to the Aleene's tacky glue. So I'm just going to put a thin layer on the next side I'm going to do, and then add the roofing paper to it, and work my way around and get the other three sides done that way. And as I said before, you want to work from the bottom up, and I wasn't thinking about that as I did that, and I worked from the top down here. Because of the nature of this, nobody will probably notice that on the finished building, but it's going to be one of those things that is going to bug me every time I see it, that I put the roof on backwards. Once I have it on again, I trimmed it off. And did the other two sides. The last step I'm going to do, when looking at photos of witch's hat roofs, I noticed that there was always a ridge cap over those joints. So I took some 060 styrene brackets. So it's an L bracket that I had left over from a previous project, and I painted the outside of it my grimy black paint, the same paint I used on the other, and I'm just trimming off an end where I had held on to the piece while I painted it. And I'm going to measure this, and I'm going to cut it a little bit long and trim it to length once it's glued on. And again, I'm going to use the Aleene's tacky glue since I'm attaching plastic to a wood paper product. The tacky glue is really good for that. You could also use white glue. I would not use the carpenter's glue. It won't hold on to the plastic. CA also would work well here for this application, but I'm not a big fan of CA, and I only use it when I have to. But the tacky glue has worked really well. And then just set that over the corner. Make sure the top is aligned. And that the unit is square. That done, I'm going to repeat the process for the other 3 corners. I'm going to measure one, and then I'll cut the other 2 based off of that, the length of that one. And then we'll let those dry and trim them. Trim the bottoms flush on the ridge caps. Okay, with that dry and the ridge caps trimmed, it's ready to be installed on the roof. So I always like to test fit things and make sure everything's square and set. And since this is, we can get some carpenter's glue and just run it along the bottom edge. With the roof attached, once that's dried, that will complete the building, other than a few detail parts, which we'll come back to once the model's finished. But this will complete the building part. So the next step will be to start work on the loading dock area, and that will be in our next video. So please stay tuned to my channel, and if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and hit that like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithms and helps other people be able to see it, and maybe they can learn from my methods, the ones that work and the ones I do that don't work. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.